response to the online ad or the print version? She glanced out the windows and swallowed hard. All those men out there had to be applying for the foreman position, right? Sarah put her elbows on the desk and rubbed her temples. This was so bad. How could they have printed this? I don't even understand who would write an ad like this. They should be fired, all of them at that 2-bit paper, Mrs. Casey said, her outrage clinging to her words like honey on a spoon, as her loyalty shifted back to Sarah. Are you getting a migraine? You keep rubbing your temples. She squared her shoulders and nodded once. I'll take over. This is too much stress for you. Sarah stopped the temple rubbing. No, I'm fine, and I know what I can handle. This is my ranch, and I'm going to find a way to run it. There is a reason your father never wanted you in the ranching business. It's no way of life for a woman, alongside all those men out there day in and day out. Edna shook her head. If they kept this conversation going, Sarah would end up with a migraine. It wasn't a new topic, but it was one that always ended in an argument. You know that's not true. There are plenty of women ranchers, despite this myth you and my parents kept clinging to. This is the 21st century, and even if it wasn't, that kind of thinking is and has always been backward. It's prudent, it's wise, and it's realistic. It's a bunch of lies that even my father didn't believe. Before Josh... She rolled her shoulders and forced back the immediate pang of grief. Before Josh died, Dad knew that we'd be the ones to take over this ranch when he was gone, and he had no objections. The whole women shouldn't be in the ranching business was a front, a cover-up for his fear that something might happen to me. I'm not living that way any longer. Mrs. Casey pursed her lips, coming at it from a different direction. You know you could sell this place. It's what your mother wanted. You could sell and afford to buy a house without all this land and live a comfortable life. Her eyes ignited with hope. No. Mrs. Casey made a harumph noise and squared her shoulders. This is an argument for another day. For now, we must come up with a solution for the hooligans outside. Sarah almost laughed at the hooligan remark, but it also reminded her of just how out of touch Mrs. Casey was with the modern-day world. The poor woman had been with Sarah's family for more than 2 decades and was the epitome of straight-laced, black-and-white movie-era, sheltered, small-town, elderly lady. This ranch had almost become a compound in the last decade, keeping them away from the neighbors and friends and progress. While Sarah wasn't exactly living a wild life out here in rural Montana, she considered herself worldlier than Edna Casey. By the end of this year, all that would change. Okay, let me think. Those men out there, they must have read the online ad, right? I mean, who reads the paper these days anyway? And who in their right mind would even think that ad was real? Mrs. Casey adjusted the blinds and peered outside. No proper man would respond to an ad for an escort. I will address the men out there, and whoever so dares to admit to being here for an escort position shall receive a blistering lecture from me. Sarah resisted the urge to rub her temples again. I will deal with the men outside. This is my ranch. I'm the one doing the interviews. I'm more than capable of handling a few cowboys, regardless of the position they're here for. Sarah joined Mrs. Casey at the window and took in the appearance of the men outside. There was nothing odd about them. They all looked like the typical cowboys she'd grown up around on the ranch with their well-worn cowboy hats and jeans, fit and strong bodies. I'll be fine, she told Mrs. Casey. You go back to the house. I'm optimistic that most of them are here to apply for the foreman position. They all look like real cowboys. She slanted the blinds and peered out the window again, trying to convince herself as well as Edna. Well, if not, they should all be ashamed of them.